We are back and it is 2024. First and foremost, I got to give a huge shout out to Izzy, who held down the fort for the last 2 weeks. Throughout 2023, we went live every Wednesday or Thursday for all 52 weeks except for one. So I thought that was a huge success. And viewership on these lives, not necessarily great as we are live, but on the reruns, I think people have found a lot of great information. And so we are going to continue forward in 2024 every Thursday night at 5:30 p.m., keeping it 10 to 15 minutes long. But let me know how you think I could make this a little bit more engaging. Should I add some graphics? I've got basically what I do each week prepping for this is I develop a Google Sheet that has all of the basically things with a short summary that we are going to talk about, things that happening, and then a city council rundown. I don't know how engaging that would be if I had that on a shared screen, but rather than just my talking head, it's not the prettiest in the world. So maybe something a little bit more engaging while we are live. But regardless, I think the information is very valuable. So we'll jump right in because it is going to be an exciting 2024. But one of the things that Colorado Fort Collins was awarded nearly $1 million grant to study 27 miles of arterial roads through Fort Collins. We're a platinum rated bike community and we want to see the safety because, basically we do have a plan as Fort Collins, plan zero, essentially 0 deaths or major injuries on biking pedestrians, things of that nature that we want to continue to maintain safety throughout Fort Collins, especially being such a bike-friendly community. So that will go towards studying, charting, and looking at those 27 miles to see what we can do better, what we are doing that's already good. But that is some good money going towards a very important cause in Fort Collins. I thought this was super interesting. First time I've ever heard of it, rather than like the speed train from here to DIA, and I think it was I can't even remember the ultra loop. I can't remember exactly what it was called. But one thing that is in discussions, and I'm not sure how I feel about it necessarily, but is the Front Range Passenger Rail Project. Eventually, it's going to start with, I think, basically from but Fort Collins to Pueblo, but eventually run from Cheyenne all the way down essentially to Santa Fe. And the first $500,000 was awarded through, I believe, nationally to Colorado to begin development of this project. So $500,000 with an initial development plan due by the end of 24. But the build out is going to be years into the future, but it'll be something that they're going to, there's going to be so many hurdles. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on a Front Range rail passage rail rail project. So basically a passenger train up and down the Front Range. And, they're talking about that it could be a huge boom for economy, being able to, traffic congestion. We're projected to get close to, grow by, I think it's like 3 million people by 2050. And I-25, if you're here in Northern Colorado or Denver, Colorado Springs, I-25 is busy. And possibly this is something that could take off some of that congestion, help with, greenhouse gases, all that good stuff, carbon emissions. But many, many years in the future and probably billions of dollars as far as development goes. So we are in the beginning stages, but making headway. And I believe, nationally it is an important project. And as far as like they want to update these infrastructures, travel systems, and because we are kind of so spread out now, that driving along these highways, is congested. A lot of infrastructure work on that. So we'll see where that goes. Let's see here. Old Dominion is going to be building a 47,000 square foot, or has plans to build a 47,000 square foot warehouse just north of that Amazon facility. I think it's like 300,000 square feet, or maybe it's 100,000 square feet. I can't remember exactly the size of that one, but it's huge. But another freight company coming in Northern Colorado, just seeing the growth of the area and expecting the need to be able to quickly deliver goods and have a kind of hub around that north of the Loveland Airport. Man, I would hate to be the Ladera Developments, that 280 acre development in Timnath. They've had Top Golf that they originally were going to have in that development that got shut down, and city-led initiative saying no higher than 45-foot fences, which essentially restricts Top Golf from being built. And now they're saying the city is going to put it on the ballot in April 2nd. So if you're living in Timnath, you can vote on this, of how they are going to require there to be essentially the coal mine or the mining that is happening through Connell Resources. It's a concrete and asphalt, I believe, mining field, and the reclamation process. The cities could vote saying that, hey, we're going to require you to reclaim this and put it back to normal, which could take years, essentially stalling that development, which is really a pretty big part of the Timnath development plan and that I-25 and Harmony corridor. But I've always talked with a lot of people that, we're in real estate. We do traditional residential brokerage, investment properties, multifamily, but we don't really get too much in commercial. And I've always told myself, I'm never going to get involved in development. Maybe eventually I'll develop some onesie, twosie houses and single family type deals, but not huge developments, because things like this will end up costing millions of dollars, and you could potentially never see this project go. City Council of Timnath are saying that, hey, citizens, be careful. The developer could ultimately sue the city or the town of Timnath for not being able to develop here and having so much millions of dollars. I mean, McQuinney having that issue in Loveland, now Ladera having this issue in Timnath. So definitely some obstacles as a developer, but that I-25 and Harmony corridor would be pretty huge if this happened, because I think it's like 2 million square feet of commercial, over 700 housing units that are going to be built there. And we all know that in Northern Colorado, we need the housing. Let's see here. Here are some new laws that are happening in Colorado in 2024. Minimum wage going from $13.65 to $14.42. Let's see here. The Family Act. I don't have too much information on what this is, but essentially what it will allow is for paid leave up to 12 weeks, and the employer and employee contribute to it. When I do payroll for my company, it's a pretty small amount. I know we can increase it, and then you have to apply for it as employees or W-2, I believe, to get and receive that paid leave. But that takes effect January 1st. Additionally, the polystyrene ban for food service, I believe that's kind of like the food to go containers for restaurants, can no longer be used for food service starting January 1st. And then across the state, no more single-use plastic bags. Fort Collins already had it, but you could go to Loveland's, Walmart for us, like we're on 287 near Harmony Road, just head south a little bit, and you go, and you can get plastic bags. But no more across the state, single-use plastic bags are being outlawed, or they're no longer to be used. Colorado's Universal Preschool Program, they're going to have some revisions. They did receive $23 million from the basically the overage collected from the tobacco and nicotine industry that we voted on in 2023. And so they're going to get this kind of influx of cash and help produce that and operate that program more. But preschool, if you have a 4-year-old, can be free up to 30 hours per week across the state of Colorado, which is huge because, you might have childcare for your young ones, your 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, babies, at daycares or in-house nanny, whatever that might be. And then you had to pay for preschool prior to this. It could be pretty expensive, for $300, $400, $500 a month. And then, it's not until they get into kindergarten that public school is free to the public. So, it's kind of a huge deal that these families, especially families of financial need, are able to put their children in preschool, whether that might be some 3-year-olds, but all 4-year-olds can qualify for free preschool up to 30 hours per week. Let's see here. Yes, there was an article that came out that said if you thought December was hot, it was basically the hottest average temperature since 1988, I think it was, 1889. The coldest day got to 15 degrees on Christmas. Otherwise, no snow, not a drop of snow, but it was still one of the wettest years on record for Fort Collins. The fourth wettest year in Fort Collins. And I think there was a couple other times, but we are expected, with it being an El Nino year, that this January, February, March is supposed to be pretty snowy. So I'm not a huge fan. Keep all the snow up in the mountains, but we shall see. At least keep the sidewalks and streets clear. As we get into that February, March, the temperatures start to rise. January and December are kind of our coldest months of the year. February gets a little bit warmer. March gets a little bit warmer. So that just helps, if we get the snow, to melt it off the sidewalks and streets a little bit faster. All righty. Things to do coming up this month. And I'm probably going to maybe let Izzy come on again. Not let, it's have Izzy on again, because she did a great job. Probably end of January, because January 5th, 5 to 7 p.m., there is a summer camp open house that basically the recreator for Fort Collins, if you're wanting to go get more information of what activities you can do with your kids this summer, there's an open house, Northside Aslan Center, January 25th, 5 to 7 p.m. Let's see here. Fort Collins, one of the things that Fort Collins has is an issue, like its cell phone coverage. There's always an issue. We're going to be creating videos or having our annual kind of pros and cons living in video. And one of the things that we always talk about is kind of cell phone coverage, because there are definite dead spots in and around Fort Collins. But there's actually an app. It's called the FCC Speed Test app. And you can use your smartphone. You can download it. I'd recommend this to anybody in Fort Collins, because essentially it relays that information. If you're saying that, hey, there's bad service here, it relays that information to the city of Fort Collins, which then subsequently, I think, relays it to the cell phone carriers to help tell them where they should get better coverage. So I'm going to download that app myself. I know, like, Golden Meadows, one of my favorite neighborhoods in Fort Collins, is an absolute dead zone for Fort Collins. So I will go straight there, click, hey, bad service, and let them do whatever it does. Maybe it doesn't do anything, but hey, it couldn't hurt. It's not going to hurt. And at minimum, if it does help, maybe Golden Meadows gets some good cell phone coverage amongst other places in Fort Collins. Let's see here. Sales and use tax open house on January 11th, 10:30 to 12 p.m. Now, basically, if you're looking at starting a business in Fort Collins, you might want to go to this and just kind of get like an overview what it might look like if you wanted to open a convenience store, or open a some type of retail, what that sales and tax use might look like. Again, January 11th, 10:30 to 12 a.m. And I don't know if I have the location, but feel free to drop a comment below and we can talk about it. 2024 is a big year ahead of us. Montava is breaking ground. We're probably going to start to see some sticks in the air. King Supers maybe not necessarily will be open on College and Drake, but it's got some framing that's going up. So maybe by the end of the year, Foothills Mall, that development project is going to continue to move forward. Probably not a dirt in the shovel until 2025. We're going to see what that land use code does. It was repealed. They're going to rework it, go through planning and zoning, make sure that they sign off on whatever is passed, but they're going to probably pare it down even further. That was a big deal. And then probably put it back onto the ballot and then go into phase 2, ordinance, vote on it and see if Preserve Fort Collins keeps it. But it's a big year in 2024. I'm excited. My team and I are happy to help. If you're considering relocating to Fort Collins, Northern Colorado area, give us a call, text, or email. But until next Thursday, have a great night, guys.